Let's begin with an update coming in from the Supreme Court, which is hearing the Adani-Hindenburg case. 3 pleas that were seeking a probe into the allegations made in the Hindenburg Research report against the Adani Group has come up in the top court. The hearing has been pushed to Monday after the Supreme Court suggested that a committee must be created to look into strengthening of regulatory frameworks. The CJI, in some of the observations that were made during the hearing, said, can we contemplate having an expert committee, possibly from banking, from investment, headed maybe by a wise guiding force in the form of a retired judge. So the CJI right now has spoken of maybe a committee being the answer. It's not an order from the Supreme Court, but an observation and a recommendation. Anisha Mathur is joining us with more details on this. Anisha, can you sum up for us what are the big takeaways from the Supreme Court hearing today?
Well, effectively, the Supreme Court has made 2 very important points. One, that it is concerning that there has been a huge loss to the market, to the investors in India because of what has been happening in the last 2 weeks. They have flagged that there was some sort of short selling and that there have been multiple cases when this issue of short selling has come up even before the Supreme Court. But at the same time, the court has said that we do not want to say anything that could potentially affect market sentiment, that could potentially affect the investors. Therefore, at this stage, the government and the SEBI have been asked to come back before the Supreme Court on Monday with suggestions on what can be possibly done to strengthen the regulatory framework, to strengthen the monitoring framework. And one important point that was made by the court, and I will just read out exactly what the court had said, that there is vital role for the SEBI also for a threadbare analysis of the powers that are currently with the SEBI, and if there are any regulations or any future changes required in the powers and the authority that is given to the SEBI. So a very important point being made by the Chief Justice, that there is a vital role that has to be played by the SEBI. We need to also look into whether there are any gaps in the regulatory mechanism, in the monitoring mechanism that could possibly be improved. What they have also said is that we do not want to interfere in the policy domain, which is why they have asked the Solicitor General to contact SEBI, to contact the Finance Ministry and come up with some sort of a suggestion. One thing that the court has suggested, however, is that some sort of an expert committee could be made to look into this analysis, to conduct this analysis. But more than once the court reiterated that we are not passing any orders. We are simply giving a suggestion. We are thinking out loud as to what can be done to protect Indian investors, and that in effect is what the court has said, that we want to ensure that something like this does not happen again. Is there any mechanism, is there any policy, is there any power in place for with any of the regulatory authorities which can possibly ensure that such kind of a huge short selling, which has led to what has been reported as more than 10 lakh crore worth of losses to the Indian market, that is not repeated. What is also important to note is that Solicitor General, who was representing SEBI, has said that what has happened has been as a result of a report that was not made in the Indian jurisdiction. So we did not have any way of stopping that report. And that is also a very crucial point being made by the government, that this report originated outside of India, but we are looking into it. We are on top of it. That is what the government has assured the court.